Yeah. Yep.
They tried to send again.
Exactly.
No, it's too much fast, but we're ready to see.
You scared me as a bill collector.
Or the public hearing stopped at 7:54.
Oh, okay, that was 7:15 when we had the advertisement. Ready? All right, call the rescheduled regular meeting of the Common Council, today being Tuesday, October 10th, 2023 to order. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll to establish a quorum?
Councilmember Henderson.
Here.
Councilmember Mark Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Martinson.
Here.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Here.
Councilmember Topcott. Councilmember Miller.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Moving on to approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Sorry. Thank you, Councilmember Martin, Councilmember Johnson. And a couple of changes to the agenda that we propose as an amendment. That being under executive session to add personnel matters. To move item D in this agenda to the agenda for our October 23rd meeting. And then we hand over the oath of office for Ms. Miller, Councilmember Miller, prior to the work session, so she could participate in that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Martinson, Councilmember Mark Johnson. Oh, I don't need to say Mark anymore.
No.
Councilmember Johnson. All right, roll call please on the amendment.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Martinson.
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Councilmember Topcott. Councilmember Miller. Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Thank you. The amendment passes. Then back to the main motion on the approval of the agenda. A roll call please on that.
Councilmember Martinson.
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Councilmember Topcott. Councilmember Miller. Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to communications, there's just one that's in page 18 of the original distributed packet. Just a little note from the White House and President Biden's senior advisor that was here to visit. Looking forward to, I think he got a lot of information out of us, and looking forward to working with us and seeing us again in the future. Moving on then to citizens' comments. Are there members of the public that would like to address the council this evening? forward, state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Meredith Amasa. I'm here for public comments. I'm a resident here. I've known for 47 years. And I'm really nervous.
Fine, take your time.
My father, he was 91 years old. He was an active, independent, respected elder who on August 18 or 19 suffered multiple strokes in his apartment with no one around. And on Saturday, I came into town to go do my dump run, and my son and I drove into town and go check on Dad like we usually do. And we walked into his place, and he was lying on the couch, and he moaned for help. His face was droopy. He was he was unable to speak or lift his arms, and he was delirious. I did not know what was happening to him, so I called the ER, and I wanted to talk to Mike Owens to please come and take a look at my father. And I explained to him the situation that was happening, and he said he'll send an ambulance right over. While waiting for the ambulance, the police showed up, and I did not call them. I don't remember calling them. Someone might have called them. I didn't call them. They didn't address themselves what they were doing there. They didn't ask me what I needed. They didn't ask what was happening. They did not assess the situation. I remember they pulled up to the apartment complex where my dad was living, and asked me what's the problem. And I said, I think my dad needs medical help. There's something wrong with him. And they did not tell me who their names were. They didn't ask me, or they didn't ask what assistance they could be of. There was no sense of urgency, and I told them I'm pretty sure he needs to go to the ER room. Officer Lee, I found out who it was later by asking who it was, shrugged his shoulders and he said, "We can take him in to sleep it off." I said, "I think I would like to wait for the ambulance Saturdays." Despite Mike Owens letting me know that the ambulance was on the way, that was about 2:30 in the afternoon or so, or something like that. We got to the ER room about 4:30, maybe 5. They still did not tell me anything. Officer Lee insisted, without taking into what my needs were for the situation, he said again, "I'll take it from here. Your dad will need to walk to the cop car on his own despite his signs of medical help." No assistance was given when trying to transport my dad to the vehicle. I did it all by myself. I walked him from the apartment, holding his belt, to go into the cop car. No assistance was given from either officer. No introductions. They just looked at me. And Officer Lee tried to say, "Whatever you want to do, we could take him in your car, in my car." I said I would really feel comfortable if the ambulance showed up. He did not know that there was an ambulance on the way. Jimmy showed up, and it only took him about 2 seconds to realize there was something wrong with my dad. He took him out of the police car and put him in the ambulance. When Jimmy showed up, Officer Lee and Officer Griffin's demeanor changed. They got quiet, and they didn't. Officer Lee looked at me and said, "Ma'am, I don't know why you're getting so upset." I feel that Griffin and Lee wrongfully accused my dad of being inebriated, asking him not just the one time to see if he had been drinking, but 2 or 3 more times. Wrongfully accusing him, he must have been drinking, clearly inebriated. While we were medevac down to Anchorage and my dad came to, he asked me, "Why were the cops putting me in their car? I'm sorry, Meredith, I did not do anything wrong. I had a lot of pain in my head, that's all I remember." So during my father's medical emergency, we were deeply troubled by the lack of empathy displayed by the police officers on the scene. For instance, when the officers first arrived, they initially advised my dad to sleep it off, showing a disregard for his well-being. Moreover, we're given misinformation regarding the ambulance by being told that it doesn't run on Saturdays, which further added to our confusion and anxiety. There was also a clear absence of urgency and compassion from the officers. They informed me that they could take it from there. But then I said my dad would need to walk to the car on his own. They said this lack of assistance and support during such a critical moment was extremely disheartening. I was left to handle the transportation of my father to my vehicle entirely on my own. Additionally, the officers appeared dismissive when we expressed our concerns, stating casually, "We always come here," as if it minimized the seriousness to our situation. Lastly, I'd like to mention in how our culture treating our elders with respect is considered top value. We believe in the wisdom and experience of our older individuals should be honored and cherished. This belief is deeply ingrained in our community and our significant impact on how we interact and care for our elders. It is disheartening when instances occur like this where officers fail to uphold this value and mistreat our elderly residents. I believe it is crucial to the City Council to address these issues as they highlight a severe lack of empathy, professionalism, and proper medical care provided by our police officers. It is imperative that they receive appropriate training and guidance to ensure that they handle such situations with empathy and professionalism required, especially to our elderly population. Building awareness and fostering our culture of compassion and respect can help create positive change and ensure that our cultural values are upheld in all aspects of our society. My son was here a little while ago, but the image that they gave him that day was, "So Mom, if you were to go, you have an emergency, that's how they're going to treat us." And I've been trying to helpfully try and find good topics of discussion to help him through the thought process of what had happened, that we don't feel that it was right. We did get, my oldest brother had sent in a letter of complaint, but I didn't see much of it, and I felt that it was a status quo of apology letter. And the words that came to my mind, what what we were told was your father was treated with dignity and respect. And I don't believe that that is dignity and respect. And if that is what you call dignity and respect for a 91-year-old man who is healthy, kind, and very well respected in the community, then perhaps that's what's wrong. Thank you very much for him to listen to me.
Thank you very much for coming, Meredith. I know it's hard for you to speak to us. Your concerns are valid, and we will look into them. And certainly your father is a dear friend of mine over the many years. I was with him when Janet passed away, and I've known him a long time. Very sorry that he's gone. He's always a very bright light to see, and, for any failures that we may have done, the city manager will have those, as well. We do have a public safety commission, and that will be something to say as well. Thank you again for coming. This time, there may be others that wish to speak under public comment, but I'm going to put public comments on hold for the present time. We have a time-specific 7:15 public hearing on the state of Alaska community development block grant process. On to that, and then we'll go to public comments after.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Mary Donaldson, and for about the past 4 or 5 months, I've been working with your city administrators on some grants here to help the city of Nome. And one of the big grants coming up is the Community Development Block Grant. One of the requirements, this community has applied for this grant in the past, and one of the requirements that was kind of overlooked was these public hearings. And so that's why I'm here tonight, is to make sure those T's are crossed and those I's are dotted. All of you have a handout. If you don't have a handout, there's an extra one, as well as please the sign-in sheet. Everyone that is in here needs to sign that as proof of having this meeting tonight. So thank you for the opportunity to present both to the public and to the council this evening. It'll be short and sweet. We will come back after we have our proposal and present you the proposal. The state of Alaska has the Community Development Grant, which comes from federal monies. And this year, the state of Alaska was given $2.5 million. And as you can see by the second handout, the mission of it is to enhance the quality of life for low and moderate income residents, particularly in rural Alaska. We meet all of those criteria. It has a wide variety that it can be used for. It has to have an impact on the community for long term. A reduction, it could be used for a reduction in conditions of buildings, improvement, construction, designing, engineering, really job creation. There's a wide variety that it could be used for to help the community. Local resources are needed to match or to supplement this grant. The second page talks about, I need to tell you how much there is. As I said, there's 2.5 million. It's going to be, and it is a competitive grant, but they are having training for this. I've started on, I also was able to obtain the last 2 grants that the city applied for that were turned down. So I have those to go off of. I thought they were very well written. I don't know why you didn't get them, but again, jumping through those hoops is big on this and making sure you're doing that. So. Eligible applicants, any municipal government can apply to this. And then the 4th page has examples of what we could use it for. Health clinics, daycare centers, homeless shelters, just about anything, like it said earlier in the objective, to enhance the community. And it can be used for improvements, economic developments, planning projects, And this meeting tonight is to open it up to the community, to the council, and to the public to get ideas. Whatever ideas you would have. I have put my email on here, as well as you can drop them off with the city administrator if you have any ideas of what we should use this grant for. And once I obtain the proposal, then there'll be a process we'll go through to decide on the final one. It is due December 1st, so I do have a timeline coming up. But any proposal really is open that will enhance the community and help enhance rural Alaska. Any questions?
Is there any certain level of funding that we are looking for?
No, we can apply to up to 2.5 million. I don't know if they'll give us all that because that's a lot for the whole state. I expected it to be more. The city administrator has put forth some budgets for projects that we can match with that. And we will work with that. That will be part of the determination is what the city has to match for.
What's the match?
It depends. There's certain criteria. It's a percentage, and it depends on how much we ask for.
There's no set, like 25%.
There is not. There is not a set. It can be used for seed money. It can be used to start a project. It can be used to enhance a project. It's pretty wide open. For what it can be done. Hopefully, this is just the beginning of many grants.
Mary, is this, I did a proposal, 2 weeks ago, in regards to it, it was in terms of the health and wellness in this fall. Under
Absolutely.
the lines of this.
Absolutely. Yes, we have your proposal as considered. Hopefully, this is just the beginning. I'm working with Rasmussen as well. They have a really nice one that's one page up to 25,000 that we're looking at, but they have big ones too, like they did your library and your museum. We need to go back to them though, because I feel that this community is in a great opportunity to get grants. There's a lot of potential here, and I'm looking forward to applying to more than just this one.
And, I mean, this is, the eligible applicants are limited to municipal government.
Correct, yes, sir. That community block grant is only for municipal. I do know that proposals that will come forth that not only, if it's not selected for this, we'll use it for future proposals. Going forward, because this plans on being a long-term project.
Okay, so this is simply the needing to make us aware, make the public aware of the process. This is not a meeting that we're soliciting. I mean, the solicitation is open. People should submit those in writing to the email or contact that's listed here, telephone.
Yes.
And, okay.
When do you need them by?
I'd really like to have them by the 25th of the month, or the 20th. That gives me, a month to get going on it. I've started, the outline is done. It's just that the proposal's gotta go in, so then we would have another meeting hopefully by the end of the month to decide what the project's gonna be.
Okay, great. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, we'll revert here then back to citizens' comments. Are there others in the audience that would like to address the council?
Hello, my name is Andrew Lee. I'm here to let you know about a project I'm working on called the Animal Creek Lodge project. Animal Creek Lodge is a 27-acre development plan just outside city limits, 6 road miles from city of Nome Town Hall and about 1 road mile from the high school. The Animal Creek Lodge project is a planned 32-room lodge with 28 3-bedroom cabins that are intended for short-term and extended stay lodging. The project is intended to be an off-grid facility with a goal towards net zero. utilizing proven technologies such as super high efficiency building methods, solar panels, and closed borehole ground source heat pumps. The project began in September with about 500 foot of road extension already installed, and the first cabin's materials, building materials, just came off the barge, and those will be constructed this spring. We hope to have the first cabin ready for rental in time for the birding season. So we're going to be targeting eco-tourists such as come up for birding, for hunting, for Iditarod, and other activities. So in due time, we'll be contacting the city of Nome to look at fire services agreement because we fall outside city limits. We'll be under the state fire marshal's purview, but we'll be wanting to pay for city fire services and protection under that and a few other things. So in due time, we'll be returning and discussing more about the project. So, thank you.
Thank you. Andrew and I met here a couple of Sundays ago to kind of look through this a little bit and share some of those plans. And we did discuss that he's outside our boundaries, but yet we're interested in, certainly interested in any development that might impact it. So, thanks for making the public and the council aware. Are there others who would like to address the council? Come to the podium and state your name for the record, please.
Hi, my name's Sylvia Pantelis. I was here a couple weeks ago, proposal for an indoor sports complex. Since then, I've also spoken as well with Rasmussen Foundation in terms of some money and some different things. And I'm very familiar with working and finding money for grants, and I offered to volunteer my services to help get this going. I'd like to spearhead and really see an indoor, a proper multi-use indoor sports complex here. I think it's needed. I gave you guys my proposal a couple of weeks ago. The needs, I gave it to, right?
No, city manager.
Oh, sorry, you're the mayor, sorry. Got that mixed up. Apologies.
I invite you to a meeting hopefully this Saturday.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That'll be great. And a couple other people here to speak in regards to the need for that here and long overdue need for that.
Thank you.
So Sophia talked to me about this yesterday. Rosa Wright. I am a product of No Belts. I'm a product of No Belts sports programs. My husband and I met running in college for track and cross country. And one of the things Sophia and I were chatting about is if there's the potential to add like an indoor, even a mini track. We have a lot of kids who are really good at running, and if anybody's been to the elementary running club, I think that having an elementary running indoor little track program could be super cool. I know TJ and I have helped out with that, and we'd be happy to help out with things like that. I think the more things we can involve kids in, the better, and we have tons of really, really good runners. I mean, in sports in general, obviously, I know, and most No Belts kids know that the more things we're involved in, the more tired they are, the harder it is to get into trouble. So, yeah, just figured I'd come speak in favor of that, and that, I mean, we would be willing to, support that in any way, especially as on the track side. I didn't know which way to run on a track when I went to college, so it would have been really cool to have a track when I was growing up here. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are there others? Okay, we will move on, and the first item we have, I'm going to actually read the resolution, but unfortunately it was on a piece of paper that's not, I got separated from, so thank you for letting me have that one. Stanley's granddaughter is here to in the audience, and I ask that you please come forward. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Right here is perfect, thank you. All right, this is resolution 23-10-2 that is being read into the record. This is honoring Stan Anderson, who for over 40 years was a public servant here and was committed to the city of Nome. And Taylor here is on behalf of the family to represent the family this evening as we pass this resolution. Whereas Stan Anderson, I'm sure you want to be able to follow along, began his public service to the city of Nome as a city council member on October 24, 1977, when he was sworn in by city clerk Gene Hardy. Stan served as a council member for seat F from 1977 to 1983, when he lost his seat to Pepper Gray. During the break from the common council, Stan was appointed to the Nome Planning Commission from 1983 to 86. Also served on the Nome Joint Utility Board from 1986 to 1988. Whereas Stanley's political prospects proved resilient when he unseated Jim West Jr. for seat D in the fall of 1988. He served on as council member in seat D from 1988 until 2018, when he chose not to run again. During this time, Stan served with, help me pronounce the word here. Thank you, and enthusiasm, always asking where the money was coming from and where it was going. Don't we know? And Stan Anderson ensured questions asked of him by members of the public were always asked at council meetings on the record, even if it did not personally support his line of inquiry. Whereas Stan prepared well for meetings by studying the agenda packets, comparing proposed budgets with previous budgets, and city staff and the public alike. And after Stan left the Common Council in 2018, he still visited the clerk's office enough for staff to maintain a mailbox for him in City Hall, affectionately labeled Citizen Stan. Now therefore be it resolved that the Nome Common Council hereby commends Stanley and Stan Anderson over 40 years of exemplary public service to the city of Nome. I'd ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Councilmember Topcott, Councilmember Pistoia, roll call please.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Councilmember Topcott. Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Mark Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Martinson.
Yes.
Thank you. And the resolution is unanimously approved. We certainly are sorry at the loss of your grandfather, but we're blessed with his all of the great characterizations that I will not name here that made him so affectionately loved and respected by our community. And this is just one small way of recognizing his service to the community. And we'll look at other potential ways that we can more permanently recognize him as well. So thank you, and I appreciate you being here. And we will get this formally signed and passed on to you here, not tonight, if that's okay. So thank you so very much for coming. I appreciate it. And I wish we had the doll so we could have it pull its pants down here for a second. Don't know, Stan had it up in that little cabinet there behind. And when the council, sometimes he didn't think we were doing the right thing, he pulled his doll out and pushed the button, and down with the drawers would go. So.
That should have been inherited to see Lisa.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with it. I think Stan took it with him, and it kind of disappeared along the way.
I actually have a picture of that.
Do you? Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. So, all right. Moving on then, resolution 23-10-3. Mr. Clerk, would you read that by title?
R 23-10-03, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with
work known as the Port of Nome Tariff Rate Study and Analysis for a lump sum fee of $58,200.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 23-10-3?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Martinson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Topcott? Councilmember Miller? Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinson?
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya?
Yes.
Thank you. That was a unanimous vote. The resolution is adopted. Moving on then to resolution 23-10-4. Mr. Clerk, will you read that by title?
R23-1004, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with P&D Engineers Incorporated to perform work known as the Port of Nome Strategic Development Plan Update at a lump sum fee of $53,625.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 23-10-4?
Motion. Second.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Martinson. Any discussion? Councilmember Topcott.
So I just skimmed very briefly through their proposal, but I didn't see any mention of tribal consultation. And I just wanted to suggest, and I might have missed it because I didn't, again, I skimmed it, but I just wanted to ensure that tribes are consulted as we do this update. That was my only minor concern. I'm sure will happen. I just want to voice it for the record.
Thank you. Are there other, is there further discussion? Not, ready for the vote? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinson,
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya,
Yes.
Councilmember Topcott.
Thank you. That is unanimous. The resolution is approved. Moving on then to utility report, Mr. Morton.
Good evening. On the active projects front, you'll be happy to know that work is ongoing at the sewer lagoon. It's probably wrapping up tonight about this time, but things are looking up. Expecting that by the end of the week, we will have all the aeration in water replaced. And the challenges that we have experienced this summer, we do not anticipate next summer.
Those of us at the airport appreciate that.
Another projects, the Moon Lake Springs pressurization is substantially complete. We've been running the line full bit of pressure instead of gravity flow, and we're able to bring quite a bit more water in town if we need to. We test the system this time of year at that level. So we'll wait until things are a little bit easier to fix before we ramp up pressure all the way. We should be taking this. It's looking good. 113, 114, waiting on a review set. Previously reported that the battery project that we had was hoped to be on the last barge. We're not going to be able to bring that online until next summer. On the crew side, the water sewer crew has been really focused on correcting leaks. Strongly focused. Line crew, reinforcing part of the north feeder. We've got the equipment staged along Glacier Creek Road. Obviously some poles that are down, and we will take them out before winter comes to limit the likelihood of mishap. On the power plant side, we submitted a letter of interest to the USDA on their PACE program. And I'm sure Mr. Henderson would want to know what PACE is. Let's see, powering affordable clean energy. So we gave them a list of everything that we're interested in. And if they are interested in continuing the conversation, they will request that we apply. So it's a pretty small investment in order to get your name in the hat. That's the substantial report. Any questions about this or anything else?
Thank you. Moving on to,
There's a few things that are not in the, my message to you. And Mayor had brought up one of these. We set up a legislative priorities meeting. Last year I tried to start in September, and this year I moved it back to October because at the last minute we were trying to wrap everything up for legislative priorities. The question is do we want to make this a full-blown work session, public meeting to invite public comment on what some of the agenda issues should be that the city is trying to pursue? There is a difference between projects and policy. Normally we are looking more at projects, whether it be development of additional recreational activities. For a long time, the port still needs to be kept up on there to help continue funding the port expansion. So I just want to put this, out there that we should probably look at sometime November or no later than the first meeting in December to discuss this. The second thing is we talked at the last meeting to have a work session on ambulance service, and I would like to try to get a date from you all. Your next meeting, October 23rd, and I believe the meeting after that is Monday the 12th. 13th, excuse me. Don't know what your pleasure is, but obviously this is also going to be a meeting that should be published well.
well, I mean, we need to make I guess get some updates and determine if we're taking a different course in the very near future. I know there's some correspondence going back and forth, and potentially some other information needs to be gathered. So I'm going to suggest that we set it for November 13th at 5:30 p.m.
Another good notice, a positive notice, is police accreditation should be completed by October of next year. So we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. And I think that's a positive thing. The 3D printed housing representative is up here in Nome right now. He is going to be meeting with the tribal community tomorrow to discuss concepts and ideas and whether they wish to be active participants in this housing development. On the planning commission, zoning changes for Front Street will be on the next agenda, which is November 7th, looking at zero setbacks and other ways to encourage redevelopment or new development on Front Street. I will also we have to publicly acknowledge and thank Norton Sound Hospital Corporation. Board has awarded the city $100,000 for development of a concrete basketball court. And Chip Leeper will be working on that. Obviously, no concrete's being laid right now, but that'll obviously be a project for next June, July of next year. Tonight, I want to recognize Ms. Mussick's loss of an elderly parent. This has been reviewed. We were made aware of an accusation on August 22nd. Whenever a complaint complaint comes in on any level of service of the city, it is immediately started to be reviewed. Body camera footage was looked at. We do know there were comments within the community of what were claimed to be unfortunately elder abuse. This was looked at, was reviewed by the representative from the hospital and two members of the Public Safety Advisory Commission. And it was deemed that the police department handled this correctly. There was no ever mention that the ambulance service did not work on Saturday. The call was generated to the city by the hospital, by Mike Owens, because the family had called and asked for an ambulance to be sent out by the hospital, which Mr. Owens said they did not provide that level of service. Mr. Owens contacted our 911 center and alerted our dispatcher, who then alerted both police and the ambulance service. And the police did respond immediately. It was also not Sergeant Lay was not there. It was his cousin Vince responded. Chelsea Griffin was under training, so she really didn't have too much to be. But both of the officers helped carry Mr. Mussick from the home. There was discussion whether they go, because an ambulance had not shown up yet, to bring him by police car, which is done, so the immediate transport could happen. At the same time, they got Mr. Mussick outside, the ambulance showed up, and then the ambulance, both Jim West and Real Gray then took over and transported Mr. Mussick up to the hospital. The family has been invited, and I have had responses from Austin. The city expressed their deepest condolences, and personally I have, because I know what it feels like to lose both parents, and like some of you do around here probably know the same. We know it's a heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching, especially when you're watching your father be very ill at that. But I have not been able to hear anything about the concept of alcohol consumption and that he was drunk. So I just want to make sure that we understand the pain the family is going through. And I personally understand that, but city services were provided in the correct fashion and manner, and it was supported both by a representative from the hospital and from the Public Safety Advisory Commission. And I want to assure everybody that when a complaint is filed, it is looked into, and we have also now moved anybody who has a complaint about the police. It is clearly in our easier to find in our website, and it's under forms also. That anybody has a complaint, we ask them to fill it out, and those complaints are followed up.
So what you're saying is that the three representatives you mentioned determined that it was appropriate? Or who determined it was appropriate?
The hospital representative, Carol Pascoya, and Tracy McGarry. Tracy McGarry typically gets the complaints that people can file online. Because of the seriousness of this, I asked, and because we had seen the tape, we wanted to work with the family, which they were asked, but unfortunately the father passed away during this period of time. But I wanted to make sure that the Public Safety Commission representatives at least saw it. They reported back to this most recent Public Safety Advisory Commission.
So to answer my question on who made the determination that it was appropriate though. My question was, it sounded like you said the three individual representatives made that
Well, I asked them for, ultimately, the decision ultimately comes down to me because I'm the disciplinarian if anybody does anything wrong. But I don't make them in a vacuum. And actually, the ordinance is set up that ultimately the city manager would make the decision or report to the council if it was a level of malfeasance or negligence. But the purpose of the Public Safety Advisory Committee is also to advise the city manager. And that's why they were asked to come, because we were starting to hear comments in the community. I was actually at a meeting where this was brought up unrelated to the meeting. And, we also wanted to see what the hospital's thoughts were, to see if they felt that the police had handled things properly from a medical perspective.
So the ultimate decision that made it appropriate was the city manager.
Well, that's where the responsibility on the ordinance falls to.
I'm
But
just asking the question because
no,
it made it seem like you saying the three individuals made that determination, but now it's
Well,
you.
I mean, I consult with people. Okay.
That's fine. I'm just trying to make it clear on who made that decision.
But it was consulted with the Public Safety Advisory Committee, just like when we do get complaints. Now, they are brought to the Public Safety Advisory Committee on a complaint that anybody makes against the known police department. And, there's been at least another situation where we have brought body camera footage because of another incident that happened in town. There's also to make sure that police officers follow policy. But the issue that was discussed was that Mr. Mussick had been abused. So there is that. And then there is, did the police officers follow policy and procedure?
And then since you brought up policies and procedures, are those publicized anywhere?
They are being worked through with the Public Safety Advisory Commission, right now. I know that one set is open, but the new set is being developed. That's part of the accreditation. That'll bring us up to best practices.
So right now they're not publicly available for anyone.
Sections are publicly available. If anybody can request it, we would like to know, and we'll try to make them available.
Yep.
Thank you. Was there other questions for the city manager?
I have a question, but I didn't know if somebody on the phone had a question.
Oh, yeah, Councilmember Henderson. He's not bashful, he let us know.
Okay. Just remind me of people on the phone.
But thank you for the reminder. Scott, Councilmember Henderson, did you have any?
No, I don't have anything to add. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
I did have in honor of Stan Anderson, who loved to question city administrators and other folks.
Appreciate that.
We have two very crucial positions open right now in the city of Nome, and I understand it. One being the city clerk and the other is the police chief. The question I have is, without naming names or whatever, what is the process and where are we at for hiring those positions, and what process does the city council and the public play in those?
The police chief position will close for submittal of resumes on October 20th. The way code works is that first, the Public Safety Advisory Commission will meet with the city manager and we will review in executive session those resumes. I believe right now we are at 18 resumes. Now, I've not gone through and said this one, didn't meet that. So that is what is going going on with that. I would hope that we would follow the same practice that we did when we hired Chief Heinzelman. Once the group is whittled down to the number that we feel is optimum to interview, we will hold an interview probably on a Saturday, ideally no later than November or early December, to go through the list and to interview the candidates. Then it's my responsibility to recommend a candidate to the council. The council will be invited, so it'll be in an executive session type of format for those who participate. I think the last time, as my best memory, we were interviewing 6 people. I just remember it was the coldest day of the year when we were there. So that is on how and that's pretty much following the city clerk. We had 2 candidates. Both of them have turned down the position. What we are finding is people want to apply but they want the top of the scale where they don't have the experience. So the position is now because we've not been able to find anybody locally, the position is being re-advertised on Indeed. And in fact, we're probably going to have to go out and advertise for a number of positions on Indeed, because it's very hard to compete when people are paying $62 an hour for childcare. And none of our positions are anywhere near that. The goal is, if we could get someone who is a certified city clerk, that would be great. Right now, the position is being advertised between $95,000 and $105,000.
It's interesting to hear there's that much applicants out there.
Because we first we did it within the state of Alaska, and we generated only 3 applicants. Then we took the approach, let's go out and go through Indeed. Indeed has worked very well with us. That's where we hire most of our police officers. Going through that, even though we do try to advertise locally and encourage lateral transfers. Our most 2 recent officers were lateral transfers from Bethel, which ended up saving the city a fair amount of money. We're using. We tried advertising the Alaska Daily News, and we came up with a PSA. So now we're going to the secondary, a larger market, I guess is the best way of looking at it. So that's going to be a later discussion. What I'm planning on tonight is to discuss housing issues, because to get someone up here, we have to have some place for them to live. And, I'm not sure how to do that when I don't know what the particular needs of a particular person, moving up here.
The last question I have, now that it's getting colder, is what's the status of the ice rink this year?
The ice rink, we're working with NJUS, wherever Kenny is. The action boards are here. The land has been leveled to what the hockey rink folks want. They are going to be working with, the question is what's going to go in first, the hockey rink or the light poles. And the lights have been, I think, also ordered. So we're just waiting to get the jigsaw puzzle. I'm looking at you, Kenny, to see if you disagree with anything I'm saying. Get the jigsaw puzzle put together. And Cole was here and he's disappeared.
We're waiting for someone to tell us where they want the poles installed.
Okay.
And just for location for the public to know, it's going to be up by the rec center.
Yes, the goal is to, the rec center will be where the ice hockey rink is, so we can have better capability of having some adult supervision. It's also where there is going to be plans for programs for other outdoor youth sports through Keith Conger. And, you know, there has been a building already located up there. That'll be also the future location for the Nome Winter Sports Association. And in that area will also be the concrete basketball court. I'm suspecting, you know, right now that's where it looks like. And we still have one ball field fencing to get up, which is the children's ball field. So the space is getting a little tight up there.
Good news, though. That's good.
So that's what we want. And while you were asking about positions, two other things. We are in the process of interviewing. We had to go out nationally for the program coordinator for offerings for programs and courses and everything else for the children and adults up at the rec center. And the swimming pool, the SCADA systems arrived today and they are being installed. The optimistic date for the swimming pool is November 1st, but I think we might be prepared for the mid-November. I would encourage anybody who would like a tour of what's been done up there, just give us a call because Mr. Walker and his team have done a nice job in doing the improvements to make the pool better functioning and long lasting. A lot of piping had to be replaced.
Great, hopefully that 500,000 plus stays off the next 500,000 plus. Thank you. Roll call then, please, on council member comments.
Citizen comment.
Oh, okay, well, thank you for that. I forgot about that one in between. Are there members of the public that would like to address the council again?
You're talking,
Come to the podium.
oh, sorry.
And this isn't questions, this is comments.
Oh, comments? Oh,
Provide us information.
a comment from, in terms of facility management, you talked about the pool. My comment is, how about locking our doors of our schools? They're not locked. It's not safe. Our elementary school is unlocked. The high school is unlocked. Our buildings are not locked. Not safe.
That's interesting. Have you brought that to the superintendents and the schools?
It's been brought, I believe, at board meetings.
Can I comment? Sure.
I'm just
The
curious.
city
You're talking about the pool. I was just wondering because
The city manager and my staff have no control over, other than the pool,
oh, okay.
over how the school building functions. We have to request of them when we get a complaint. Our staff does not go up and do repairs. The city staff that works for the city manager does not go up to the school district building to do repairs. We are involved with the pool because years ago, the school district did not want to operate the pool. And the city council and the staff at that time took over the responsibility for the pool and finding money to repair the pool. And our only thing up there right now is reviewing and watching what Bob Walker's company is doing for the installation of the pool, which the city is paying for, the city of Nome is paying for. Because city recreation staff, that's the only thing we operate up there is the pool.
But I'm sure the city manager will make the superintendent aware that there's
I have
concern
no problem because we
about
did,
the building.
We could collaborate together. I mean, they go hand in hand, the city of Nome. I mean, this is.
Are you here representing the school district or do you? work
No,
for the
I'm just
school
curious.
district?
I'm just a comment. No, I do not work actually for Nome Public Schools. I collaborate through NACTech, but
I see.
I'm not an MPS employee.
I see.
To
Okay.
answer your question.
Okay,
It's but I'm also a citizen here, and I have children in the schools, and I don't know safe. So.
yeah, okay, no, I appreciate it. Just, wasn't sure how you were aware that the school locks did not work. That was what I was trying to get out. So, thank you.
No, they're open all they're not locked in the mornings all day when when my child is in school. anyone can go into this city schools. These are city schools, yet even though you're saying that, I understand the differences, but this is a city school. So my child is in your school, in your city, and that front door is not locked.
So
I
you're
just wanted-
concerned,
I just want-
okay, so this is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
I thought the locks didn't work. You're just saying you disagree with the policy of having the school open.
They don't work, they don't lock.
All right,
Both.
that's not, okay, good enough. The concern has been registered, the city manager will talk to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Are
welcome.
there others? Seeing none, okay, we will, move on then to the roll call.
Councilmember Henderson.
I just wanted, hopefully you call on me. It's pretty staticky on this end, but I just wanted to welcome and congratulate Councilmember Miller on her new position for volunteering to serve. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Councilmember Johnson.
I'll echo Scott's comment there. It's good that somebody did step up and we didn't have her to do that. Appreciate you doing that as well as Councilmember Myerson. And our mayor. Again. My comment is, the state of Alaska gives or makes the, I don't know if it's a regulation or a rule for everybody throughout the state to give an exemption for seniors on property tax exemption up to a certain point.
Ours is 150,000.
Yeah, I think that's a state mandated thing. Can we look into having our seniors apply when they turn 65 and not have to apply every year? Well, most municipalities do that. We have chosen to have them apply every year. Each year, we always have to go back, get the ones that forget to apply, stuff like that. Once you turn 65, it seems like they're not going to get any younger than that. And so, in order to ease their thing of having to apply every year, I'd like to request that we look at not having that regulation.
Well, I believe it's in the code, and we could probably, what you want to do, obviously, that's fine. We were going to do this year is an advertisement to make sure seniors and those with disabilities know and advertise. We haven't done that from what I understand in the past, so we're trying to get the word out so we don't find yourselves in that situation. And having to, I believe the letters were going to be getting ready to go out soon.
We did start getting some out today, so we are getting them out fairly earlier than normal.
And then we will follow up with notices in the paper and posted notices. I would like to try that. There are problems with not having people renewed because people could pass in the community. We would not know that, and people would still be, not notifying us that the property may have changed hands, or that younger people are occupying the house because the elderly person is deceased. Because then we're going to have to start watching that too.
Or move to GCC, for instance.
Well, we've
So
had-
his answer, the long way is saying, yes, I'll look into it.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was a little wordy there.
I think I heard that last time I brought it. I don't know if it's been looked at since
It actually was discussed. Your timing is impeccable. It was discussed today.
That's good. We just have so few seniors, and it's a very small population, part of our population. And if we could do something for them, I think it'd be admirable. I think we're one of the. When I did research on it, I found I think Kodiak does the same thing we do. Everybody else I found has when you turn 65, you put in your application and you don't have to go back every year. So I just think it's more honorable to seniors. I've had a number of seniors comment to me that it's something difficult for them to have to deal with and remember, and so that's why I'm asking.
Thank you.
Councilmember Martinson.
Welcome, Maggie. That's all I got.
Councilmember Plaskoya.
Welcome, Maggie.
Councilmember Tomcott.
Welcome. And also,
Yeah, yeah, you're stuck with us.
over himself. So just a couple other things. Obviously, awaited Kubianahui and Mukat and Munini Undua. As the indigenous people say, that was yesterday. Appreciate they made the meeting with us so we can comment on all the wonderful events that happened. Yesterday, I did not make it to all of them, but it sounded like a lot of fun, and the little bit I did catch was amazing. I also think it's very fitting to have Maggie come on. Now our council is half Alaska Native, which is much more representative of the demographics of our community. It's really encouraging to see, especially young Alaska Native, I won't say women, joining the council.
You can't sit together either.
Oh, don't worry, I'll give Scott his seat back. He can be the buffer between the strong Native women in this council. And then just a quick thought on the senior property tax. What if we just have like a recertification, like easy something, so it's not like a full. I don't know. Or give them a
There's
full
more
formal.
regulation in this age, which is.
Yeah, let's not get into it.
Anyway, whatever we can do to make that easier, I totally agree. And I know people forget we're always doing like the approvals of those late applications. I know we're very understanding about it, but if there's a way to just make everybody's life easier, I think.
Councilmember Miller.
Thank you all for your congratulations. I had one question for you. Has we been talking about the instance between
People on the thing can't see who you're pointing to. Could you say who you're talking to?
Glenn? Yes, sorry, I met you today. I don't, Glenn. Has the family of Logan Norfolk review? Is there a way that we can review this with the individuals who have also seen the final footage that we talked about? Just because that's very difficult when we're already going through hard times like this, and because they're not present currently, that they can be reached out to again. You said that they've been reached out to, and since then, they don't want it to be resolved in a kind way, in a respectful way, to honor Harold. The way that we can make that go forward.
We were trying to give them, I was trying to give them time to grieve. I did not know this was gonna happen tonight. The invitation was open and extended, but I will definitely follow up with Austin. That's who I have the contact information, I believe it is. And I will follow up with him. He did appreciate when he did send his response back to me. He appreciated everything the city had done and looking into it. So, but no, I mean, I want to bring comfort to them, and maybe if they can see it now, that there's not so much stress related to this situation, but no. You're also welcome if you want to come up and look at it too.
Thank you. Okay, well, Councilmember Miller, welcome. And the only thing is that I'd like to see us try to get this vaping thing off the calendar so it doesn't keep hanging here. So can we, in 2 weeks, ask for a meeting with the school to further discuss this, so we can see if we can't just
Yes, sir.
come to some kind of resolution?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's it for tonight. been here a long time, but we still have to be here a little bit longer. Is there a motion to recess into executive session on matters of personnel, legal and personnel matters?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Escoya, seeing no objection, 14. Thank you all for being here this evening. I don't want to just, it's not a back and forth.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
you make your presentation.
Yeah, no problem.
And then, I guess if we had known something about this, and if we brought that to the city manager.
No, it just we said comments. He's mentioned public buildings, and I was like, oh. It was brought to my attention.
Yes, I love it, and then I might.
So that's why
Right,
it just,
right.
we talked about fixing the pool, so I was like,
Right,
wait a minute, how come
right.
the school?
Yeah.
And in my class.
And listen, my kids use books.
We give them money for
Saturdays.
Right, safety's my number one concern, because
I took care of it, I took his job, seriously.
They keep emailing me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a matter of whether they're.
We're gonna see.
But anyway, the issue, I know, whether they should.
And I'm like,
That's
feel like
something
a little intruder.
with the actors.
Our new grant writer.
I mean,
Awesome.
Do you live here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I think.
I find it kind of strange.
We're just more interested in how to do more things for you. So instead of just complaining or whatever, so what can I do to help?
Used to teach
I've done it, I've met like all
Richard.
Yeah, that
I'm
points that are covered, because it never snows there, you know? And they play basketball, you know, 12 months a year outside. Because they don't have the snow. I wrote the grant for them. So that's.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, sorry.
We'll
It was
get
just,
to
it just kind of like the other, I'm like, oh.
Anyway.
I'm kind of small.
I appreciate it.
We know we have for the last number of years, 0.
Okay, sorry.
Indoor and doing more